Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf and another Grumble in the Jungle show. So today I'm asking, does the motorcycle community even exist anymore? Catch you inside. RevelatorAlf. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf and another Grumble in the Jungle show. I hope you're enjoying the series so far. Please subscribe, hit the notifications buttons down there and the bell and the subscribe with the icon and everything like that. You know the score. So today I'm asking, does the motorcycle community exist anymore? Now, I ask this because, I've been riding motorcycles for probably nearly 40 years, I suppose. I've done all sorts of riding, been all sorts of places, riding bikes, and, been in all sorts of biking fraternities, or not fraternities, but communities, if you like. But it has changed. It has definitely changed over the last 40 years. Now, even before I was born, even before I started riding, there was an expectation that your bike was never really going to be that, you could never really rely on your bike to get you from point A to point B. They just weren't that reliable back in the day. Now, they would break down and everything. Then, obviously, in the 70s and the late 60s, 70s, the Japanese came along and they really taught, the British motorcycle and European motorcycle manufacturers and, the American motorcycle manufacturers about, engineering, reliability, so on and so forth, and, lots of power packed into small engines. So you got to kind of look at that. That's when, it really started changing. But it wasn't really until the sports bike replicas started coming out. That's when it really started changing. You got a new breed of rider on the road. You got a new type of rider. So back in the day, if you broke down, somebody would pull over. You'd always ask if somebody was okay. People would be waving to each other or nodding to each other and everything. But there was a kind of respect amongst riders, but you also knew that you were in that kind of same vulnerable state. That doesn't seem to be there anymore, or if it is, it's kind of narrowed down. So when we talk about a motorcycle community, really all we can talk about is that there is a certain amount of people within society who share the same kind of interest or do the same kind of activity, which is riding motorcycles. That is the motorcycle community, as it were. But it's very thin. It's a very thin thing. If you ride around now, you get people, who won't nod to you, won't wave to you. You can go to a biking, hangout place. Some people will say hello to you, some people won't. Some people stare you up and down, trying to act all, tough. But other people are just lovely people. And, it depends where you go, of course. You can pull over to the side of the road and be 2 or 3 other bikes and you can spark up a conversation. So that is the great thing about the motorcycle community, if you like, the umbrella of the motorcycle community, in that you can go anywhere and, especially if there's only, a few bikes there, a few people there, you can spark up a conversation quite easy because you have that thing in common, that motorcycling passion, interest in common. And you can say, oh, I like that bike, or I like that wheel, or I like that tyre, or, what do you think about this? So the conversation comes quite easily. Or you can talk about the roads or the weather, all that kind of stuff. So, from that point of view, there is a motorcycling community, but it's a very thin one. However, what I will say is this. That motorcycle community, the umbrella, if you like, is completely changed to what it was years ago. Because now the bike's a lot more reliable. You're not relying on your fellow man. You don't really need to ask. You don't need to learn about motorcycle mechanics anymore. Who cares? Just they're reliable. They're never going to. If they break, you just take it to a dealership, let them get their hands dirty and all that kind of stuff. I'm in my man cave, my workshop here. But I've got a bike now that I very rarely touch. Whereas all the other bikes that I've built or have had to work on, I was constantly tinkering with them. So it's the biking world has changed and the type of rider has changed. You're getting clean hand riders now. In what I'm saying, they never have to work on their bikes. They wouldn't even know the first thing about how to work on their bikes. because there's no need to. They know they just push the button, it starts, and they go. You know, and that kind of thing. All they need to do is just focus on that riding, you know, the riding bit, which in some ways you can think, well, actually, that's all you ever needed. So it's changed. The whole world has changed. The whole biking community has changed. However, within the motorcycle umbrella, the motorcycle community, if you like, what is true is that there are still subcultures within the motorcycling subculture, if you like. There are factions within it. So whether you're, you know, motorcycle racing buff, whether you're into your off-road, whether you're into your motocross, whether you're into your trials, whether you're into your freestyle motocross, whether you're into motorcycle clubs, you know, wearing, you know, leathers, back patches, you know, all that kind of stuff, whether you're like riding a pack, you know, all that kind of stuff, that still does exist. So from that point of view, it is still there. There is some debate, I suppose, whether it's in certain subcultures, certain sub-factions they're dying out. You know, it isn't really the way it used to be. In other ways, it's you know, it's growing strong. It's a difficult one because, you know, you can go to a different event and you'll have a different type of rider there, a different type of person there. You can go like to a charity riding event, let's say a toy run, a Christmas toy run, you know, you take presents to disadvantaged kids or in hospitals or stuff like that. Great. And you will get quite a big, wide spectrum of different riders going there. Everybody congregates and, you know, everybody's in their own little circles, you know, whatever, but, you know, or their own little groups. But, you know, essentially you have the full spectrum of motorcycling there. Whether you're a scooter rider, sports bike rider, Harley rider, you know, whether you're in a group or a club or, you know, whatever it is, or a solo, it doesn't make any difference. You get that kind of broad spectrum of riding. But after that event, everybody goes their separate ways. And they'll, you know, they might go to another biker cafe or another biking meeting place. And, you know, it just isn't the same. Well, certainly for me, it just isn't the same. And I think a lot of people feel the same as well. So, you know, I've been involved with, you know, riders' rights programs over the years. I've been involved with, you know, motorcycle magazines, you know, just getting into different groups or talking to different groups, different clubs, different associations, all this kind of stuff. And the demographics have changed. The people, you know, the people have changed. The type of people have changed. You know, you know, you can have years ago, let's say you're a Harley rider. Okay, so you're a Harley rider, you're a specific type of person. Then, you know, everybody got wealthier. They got richer. The bikes got more expensive. So then you're getting kinds of people who are buying Harley Davidsons who are, you know, they're not the same type of people from years ago. And it's, that's just Harleys, for example. You could say the same about any type of bike. You know, so people have changed, the demographics changed, the type of riders have changed, and the culture has changed. And the way you speak to people, you know, the way the whole system works. When I was growing up, a kid growing up, you know, even on the road, consciously or subconsciously, you know, you were a kid starting out, and you almost had to pay your dues a little bit. You had to work at to become part of the motorcycle community a little bit. You know, you weren't, you know, you had to, if you were a new rider on a learner plate or something, you know, you could nod at another rider, but they may not nod back at you. You know, or you could go somewhere and, you know, you'd have to, not in respect, but, you know, lots of people make a big thing about this whole respect thing in motorcycling, but it really depends which community you're in, to be quite honest with you. Which subculture, which faction you're in. And I call them factions, that's just a label. I don't mean a faction, but you get the point I'm trying to make. Anyway, so, you know, it was different then, but now it's almost like, you know, social media's got a big part to play this, you know, and you can have 2 or 3 people who are, you know, they can create a big following somewhere, but just by riding bikes and doing different stuff. But are they really part of this motorcycling community, which isn't really there anymore? I suppose the motorcycle community is literally, as I said before, it is just something you share an interest in riding bikes, but, you know, my interest might be completely different to yours. You know, we're on 2 wheels, or try, you know, 3 wheels or something like that. you know, but that's it. That's about as far as it goes to some people. You know, there isn't, you know, you would not associate yourself with these other people times. Now, I'm the kind of person, I don't care who you are, where you are, where you're from, you know, what you're wearing, whatever. You know, if you're into bikes, I'm into bikes. If we want to have a conversation, great, you know. But I'm not going to pretend to be your number one friend at the same time, and I'm not going to pretend to be your number one enemy either. You know, I'm just going to be a regular guy who enjoys talking to people, and if you want to enjoy talking to us, that's fantastic. Sometimes you get the feeling it isn't quite like that with some people. But again, you know, maybe it's the age. Maybe it's the age thing that as you get older, you think, you know, and you go your own way and do your own thing. And I think that's the most important thing to remember when you're riding your bike. You know, just do your own thing, be your own person, whether you're in a club or, you know, whether you're not in a club, whether you're in a, you know, an association, whatever. You know, just be your own person all the time. I think, you know, if you're talking about respect, people respect that a lot more. And, you know, and if they don't, well, you're still your own independent person. You can do your own thing. Now, I know people strive to become part of clubs and all that kind of stuff, and that's a whole different subject. You know, and there are pluses and minuses associated with that, you know. And it depends if that's the lifestyle which you want to lead. But, you know, essentially, you still got to be your own person. You still got to have value in what you want to do and what you think about it. You know, but as I say, the whole community has changed over the years, over 40 years, definitely. Over the last 20, 25 years, it's definitely changed. And it's probably going to get more and more diluted as we go on. Bikes are going to get quicker, going to get more reliable, going to get quieter, you know, whatever, less maintenance, all that kind of stuff. And you basically just hop on and go. You know, there'll be a point when, you know, your bikes are just autopilot and the rider doesn't even have to do anything. You just sit on there and away you go. Anyway, so this has been the motorcycle community breakdown on Grumble in the Jungle. Well, that's my thoughts on it. What do you think? Put some comments below and tell me what you think. You know, maybe you think it's still going strong. Maybe you think that the whole umbrella thing of motorcycling is still really strong. Or whether you think it has sort of splintered into lots of subcultures, and, you know, some of those are very individual, as I think I do. Anyway, let me know what you think. And if you like the video, please hit the like button. But anyway, I hope you like the channel. Subscribe down there and hit that notifications bell so you'll be informed of all the latest videos. Anyway, catch you on the next one, whenever that is. Cheers now.